Good morning, morning folks, hope you are well. Let me know if you can hear me. I think I've, after yesterday, registered what I've got to do when I start streaming, so let me know if I'm coming through okay and then I'll get started. I won't go on for an hour today. I'll just do my normal 20-30 minutes, which is what I did before, because that's all you really need as a swinger to analyze the market, in my opinion. But let me know if I'm coming through okay, and I'll get going. And let me know if you're in the room. Say morning. I think Steven's here, is he? Testing, testing. Am I coming through okay? I think I am. Yes, Ash, morning mate. Morning mate. I presume I'm coming through okay, so I'll start. Okay, thanks buddy. Okay, so I think I'm going to get a little bit lucky yesterday. Obviously my USD NOK trade got stopped out at, I took it out at break even there. That was technically the plan of the aggressive entry, which is okay. And USD SEK, for some reason, was completely like, just, I couldn't do anything. It was uneditable. So I think I'm going to get this back. I've basically gone to StockNet and said I would have cut that at break even. You know, I was uneditable. They know it was uneditable. I kind of complained, so I'd be surprised if I didn't get that trade back. So I think maybe I've got some fortunate there, because obviously I would have been almost out. I would have been out yet. My stop was up here. But it looks like the US dollar wants to take a little bit of a bid if this week goes slightly risk off. But maybe I just got a little bit fortunate there, which would put me back up to 161, same place as I was yesterday. Oh, maybe that's potentially, maybe that's a little bit of a changing tune from a difficult couple of months. Well, not difficult, just quiet markets. Okay, let's go through the indexes and the dollar. That's what I normally do at the start. Indexes from yesterday, a little bit of a nothing day. Obviously, the US were on holiday. For me, it's relatively similar. I do think it's still slight risk on. We'll have to see when London and US open up today. This is still in play for me. You know, you're kind of getting your slight cup with handle here. If we can get a push up to this area, would be quite good. Again, interesting to see what the US does today. We're above these moving averages. Yes, we had a nothing day yesterday. We didn't go anywhere. We did technically drop a little bit. But for me, I still think we push. You know, I still think we push as the week goes on, you know, up to this area, because that seems to be what it's looking like. You know, you're getting your rounding effect here, as I said, that head and shoulders. Let's see, we could come down before we come up. Wait for that open, and let's see where the market takes us today. But overall, not looking too bad. If we take a look at the 4 hour, there is possibility here of a slight loss of momentum from this decent impulse, you know, or if we do push, if we're getting very, very little reward in terms of highs as we go along. So maybe it might need a bit more of a reset before it continues up, just because of how this price action is looking. But ultimately, over the next week, I do expect the index to push on. So I still got slight risk on, but let's see what happens. Dollar. The dollar had a decent bid yesterday. Again, I don't want to look too much into it because the US was off. So I think we take a bit more of a direction from today, as same with the indexes. However, we could be coming up to retest this area before we continue back down. My bias is still, from a technical perspective, looking for dollar shorts, but you know, with certainly a slight rejection, fake out on smaller time frames here, we could push up before a reason to short. Looking for that reason to enter dollar shorts. I think we just get a bit of pullback now, but I'm certainly not going against this recent trend at the moment. Nothing there to suggest to me that I should buy up the dollar from a technical perspective just yet. Fundamentally, yeah, as I said yesterday, I do think so, but I don't trade what I think, I trade what I see, and possibly pull back before continuation down, which we could then see a little bit of again, a little fall off in the indexes before push up. So if I had to give a bias, I'd probably say that would be my bias for moving on into this week, into next week. But as always, anything can happen. Right, watch this today. Quite a few to look at. A few things I do like. Unfortunately, Aussie Singapore is now taken off of StockNet. I don't understand why after they did this update. But I probably would have been in on this aggressive entry from here. It is a counter trend idea. I do think from a higher time frame perspective, I would be expecting this for trend continuation to continue to the downside, right? Certainly from this area. You know, decent pullback from a good move to the downside. It's digested, I think, okay, trend continuation, very simple trend theory says we should move down. And we didn't quite get that. So you can see the kind of rounding structure here on the daily, more prominent on the 4 hour, where we've got our simple cup with handle. So we've got our basing structure here, and we've got our accumulation. You know, slight squeeze into the area. What I like about this is, you know, I normally have a little bit of worry if we get kind of higher highs going into it, but we haven't got that here, which is good. So we're just getting that kind of squeeze accumulation into this area. We're knocking on the door, and for me, this would have been an aggressive entry on this bar. So we got some increased volume. Yes, it was over Asia, but if I was allowed to trade it, I would have probably taken this. But I kind of like Aussie Singapore, so I'm a bit frustrated why they've taken it off. I'm not sure why that's happened. But Aussie Singapore, if you are looking at it, you know, you could look at an aggressive entry, or you could come up and wait for it to accumulate a bit more for a break above. Obviously, the aggressive entry is more aggressive. The breakout is probably a little bit more higher win rate, or it is higher win rate. But Aussie Singapore, I don't mind. Certainly, if the market pushes, you know, you could get that Aussie bidding, possibly taking a little bit of a fallback on account of China lockdowns, etc. But you know, I like that Aussie Singapore. Kiwi dollar is still on the cards. Got a little bit of time before I am really interested in this from a daily perspective. Slight inverted hammer. You know, could we see this come down a little bit more? I hope so. I hope we do that. For me to look at going long here. Again, nothing there at the moment worrying me against this primary trend that we've got. Big V reversal here. Dollar looking weak. This is something I kind of do want to get involved in. I just need it to come down. Nice, I mean, ideally something like this. Hammer, increased volume. I would take that as aggressive all day. Or we look at the breakout above here. So Kiwi dollar still got a little bit to go. Not quite digested this enough for me. Obviously, this has been a great trend. I don't know if any of you got involved in that. I obviously did not. But, yeah. Reading an article yesterday, and it basically stated that fundamentals also support Aussie's strength with exports increasing. Yeah, I like the Aussie play. From a very basic standpoint as well, Ash, for me, in terms of markets pushing as well, you know, technically, and I would kind of like it. So if we look at Aussie dollar, let's see what Aussie dollar is doing. You know, obviously we're seeing that. I mean, look, you got a little bit of loss of momentum here, right? Not a great reset, but certainly a move down, push on. We're above the moving averages now. We've broken that daily anchor, right? If we move out to that weekly, you know, we've obviously been last year on a move down, but I like the idea of buying the Aussie. I know I'm not saying I'm alone, but I don't know. I just think from a technical perspective in the markets, I just like where we are. If that was any other chart, and obviously if this pushes on, Aussie will be strong. There's no doubt about that. The Aussie will benefit from a bit more risk sentiment along with what you're saying, Ash. So yeah, I like the Aussie play. Maybe not right now, but soon. Hey TM mate, hope you're well. Good to see you back. Glad to see you here. How's trading been? Hope it's been all good, mate. You're on Aussie dollar long at the moment, 696. Aussie dollar 696. So are you slightly down? 696. So somewhere. Oh, you've just entered. Okay. Well, yep. If it fits your plan, it fits your plan. DXY on daily is also saying short. Yeah, I agree with you. I just worry that we could get a bit of pullback strength. That's my worry about the dollar. But again, path of least resistance is to the downside. How much do we take this candle into account? Obviously, the volume there is really non-existent because US open up. I would not be surprised if US open up today and the dollar gets sold. I wouldn't be surprised. So yeah, hopefully it goes in your direction. Okay, so Kiwi dollar, Aussie Singapore I've done. Euro Aussie is still potentially setting up to the downside. Again, another trade that I like the idea of. I still like what it's doing. It's going to be a few more days for me to potentially look at this, but you know, is this B wave here? Still learning how to write again with my mouse. So coming up here, back to that 20. Catalyst to entry to go short, head and shoulders. I like that. Few more days to set up. This is where the patience comes in, that you've just got to wait. And Euro Aussie potential shorts is another one that I do like. 225 was the last one that goes against my kind of fundamental bias. However, again, I'm going with what I see, not what I think. This will have a little bit more time to set up as well. But we've got our large basing structure here. We're in this accumulation phase, looking for potentially a larger ABC to move to the downside. I'm not going to go too much into that because we've got a long time before it sets up. But potentially looking at, you know, a good hedge play or a good something to have on the watch list in case I'm completely wrong with my analysis and thinking that, well, the markets are probably going to fall. So 225, looking at potential shorts there on the daily chart. Now, two I do like for intraday are these pound shorts. So looking at breakout retests on the pound Swiss, which may not come in depending on how this hourly closes. I've just seen this now. When I was looking at it, we were just breaking through this area. Here, looking for a retest. Obviously, we've got our accumulation here, structure that we like for a move to the downside, breakout retest. However, if this hourly stays how it is, then I take that off and I move on. So we've got just over 15 minutes before that hourly closes. If we get some rejection, we could possibly look at a steady state retest up into this area before moving down. But it looks as if that might not be. And ideally, I kind of like that where it was here at this anchor for the downtrend now. But looks as if the pound might take a bid, but not really too sure on that. And pound New Zealand was the other one. Pound Kiwi, which again, this one looks as if it wants to push as well. So the patterns there were nice. The daily was okay. It wasn't great on pound New Zealand, but you know, we had this steady kind of pullback into here looking for a push down. But it looks as if those two are probably off the cards with that slight push in pound and breaking through that area. So hey ho, I like them. Unfortunately, that's what happens sometimes. So I would say if those two are gone, there's really not that much to look at today. Might be a day where I go up to the golf course. Kiwi dollar, I do like it. Still got a bit of time. Aussie Singapore, I probably would be in that if I could be. 225 got a bit of time. Euro Aussie got a bit of time. So yeah, probably a sit on the hands day for me. And sometimes that's happened. It's been like that for quite, you know, since the end of October. Patience, patience. I wish I could trade more, but you know, when we're in this kind of, again, just question mark time, it I'm not too confident. Put it that way. CAD Yen. Oh, Martin, you asked me about the stock net. I'll go into that after CAD Yen as well. CAD Yen with all the news coming out today from both sides. What's coming out today on CAD Yen? Let's have a sheet. Is it bad that I don't know what news is coming out? It just shows how I know the big news coming out. CAD Yen. No, they've got the CPIs coming out today. What's the yen news? Can't see any real important yen news. But CAD CPI, yeah, obviously that's important right now. Anyway, let's look at the chart. That's what I'm good at, not that stuff. Oh, the rate decision, is it? Oh, well then, yeah, there'll be volatility there for sure. But let's have a look at the chart. Let's have a look at the chart. What are you looking at, Martin? Are you looking short? It looks short, right? Obviously. Slight fake out to the downside. This is where you see a lot of fakes, right? I know I've said this a lot, but never take breaks like this. Never take breaks like this. This will almost always happen. When you see extended moves into it, we push up, and yeah, never take breaks like that. So right now you have to say, looks like, again, purely technicals, it looks like a pullback, right? Getting in on shorts makes sense, but yeah, I'd wait for that news to come out, Martin, to be honest with you. Because see, I mean, unlike before where NFP etc. was the biggest, the CPIs it's kind of replaced it right now for obvious reasons. But again, technically, pull back short, right? Let's have a look at the weekly. Pull back short still. I mean, it has had a good move. It has had a good move. There's no doubt about that. When I look left and to last month data doesn't give me much, but I would like your weekly, daily. I mean, if this hadn't been like this, right? So if, for me, again, I'm seeing a slight loss of momentum here. If we'd got like a nicer reset and a reason to go long, I would say, well, might not be a bad time to buy it. But I'm just not really comfortable with where it is. And if I'm honest, I've got to sit myself firmly on the fence. You know, you're still technically, I mean, you're not actually technically in an uptrend. No, you're technically in a downtrend now from a weekly. You're breaking anchors. Daily is certainly in a downtrend. We pull back. You've kind of had a failed V reversal there, and we push back down, broken underneath this area. The 4 hour looks like it's you know, it's not worrying me for a change in trend from this latest impulse, right? So this latest impulse, which what we're probably most interested in, recent price action, this ain't enough yet. This ain't enough yet. So yeah, that would be one, Martin. I would just say I don't really know what's going to happen, so I'll just leave it personally. And I kind of agree with you. I don't really know where it's going. The bias has to be down, but you know, it's a difficult chart. It's a messy chart. It ain't a very nice chart, to be honest with you, I would say. Yeah, so you asked me about StockNet, right? So I'll go through that in case you didn't know. So if I let me bring up Pete here, just to kind of give you a basic understanding of what they do, because some people obviously might not know. Let me know if you want me to look at anything else, guys, and I'll happily do that. I'm Valor 95.7, 95.7. Which I presume is kind of under here, right? Okay. Let me look at lower time. Alright, okay, I see where you're looking at, yeah. Yeah, I mean, structure break from that pullback potentially finished, right? The worry would be, for me, would be that. But I would understand the bias. And to be honest, like I said, the chart's not extended on a daily, from a daily. It could move. So yeah, I don't mind that at all. Don't mind that at all. Pull back to the 20. I just don't know whether, you know, just from looking at price action, I don't know whether that's enough for me to be happy shorting it. But what do I know? What do I know? Yeah, so StockNet, right? So StockNet, or SAI as they're called. So I started with them April last year. So they've got some new accounts now. Martin, you were the one that asked me. So they've gotten some new accounts now. I don't know how much they were. Let me see if I can bring it up. I can bring up their website actually. So StockNet account. second, guys. I'm just getting it. Oh, it's not StockNet Institute, isn't it? Sorry. StockNet Institute, here we go. Okay, StockNet Institute, programs, here we go, evolution. So, these are the accounts that you get. I know you asked about costs, right? So the costs are down here. So for a 1250 account, it's £80, 25,160, 5,320. I think the max you can buy is 80, I believe. So 10, 20, 40, yeah, all the way up to 80. So the 80s, you know, obviously up to £5,000. What's that in dollars? You can kind of figure out. Now they've got basically two different account types. So they've got standard and dynamic. Okay, so the main difference that I can see, right, is, I do standard, by the way. My account is standard, so I scale every 10%. Same here, scale every 10%, and I have a max drawdown of 8%, and my profit split right now is 60. You all the way up to $1 million. With $1 million, you get 75%, right? So as you increase your account, your profit split goes up, essentially. Starts off at 50, 55, so it would blah, 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 all the way kind of up to 75. Right, so that's the standard one, which is very good. So you purchase account, you pay your, let's say you wanted a 10K account, which is what I bought, which is actually for, they're cheaper than what I bought it for. I think mine was about £800. They're with Blueberry, so they obviously they give you your login details, very similar to FTMO. They give you your login details, and you log in. You've got 10K, and you basically try and get 10% after you get your 10%. Okay, so I'm not on the Trader Hub because I had to withdraw all my money to get on the Trader Hub. This is something that, again, that they introduced after I was there, because I was there at the very start. But you should see all the data, kind of like FTMO does, where you can see all your details. They have that as well. But once you make 10%, you can either then, I think every Friday you can request a payout. So you can request payout of however much, right? So let's say you're making 8%, you've made $800 on your 10K account, right? You get 50% of that, so you've actually made 400. If you want to take 400 out, you can. Right, if you make 10%, you can then scale up to 20K. Again, if you want to scale up, you make your 10%. You want to take your money out, your $500, and scale up, you can do that. But obviously, your drawdown remains the same. If you don't take it out, which is what I did, so when I started on 10K, I made my 10%, which is $1,000. 11K, I kept that money in, moved up to 20, and I had 21K. So I have 8% drawdown from 20K, but I had an extra $1,000 profits, and I've just continued on. So at 20K, I made 2K, making my total profit of 3K. So I moved it to 40, and my equity was on 43K, etc., etc., etc. So I continued with that profit buffer, just so I don't have 8%, because, you know, looking at the last from October, end of October, November, December, I'm on 8% drawdown. Oh, my video's frozen, is it? Okay. Not sure why. Anyway, I'll just continue. Is it frozen? I look like an idiot. If the sound's alright, I'll just continue with this, because as long as you can see my mouse, and then that'll be done for the day. Yeah, and that's essentially it, Martin. So the only difference between that and dynamic is the drawdown and the profit target. So this is the only thing I can see. You've got max drawdown of 12%, and you've got scale every 15%. So this is obviously easier because you've got a higher drawdown. It's actually a really good a really good idea. Let's have a look at the difference in price. So 10K, okay, it's a little bit more expensive for obvious reasons, right? So 10K for this is 640, 10K for dynamic is 960. So yeah, I would say give them a try. I would say give them a try and see if you like them. Or you wait and you could win one with Simplicity Trading. That would be the easiest option, right? For anybody watching, Simplicity Trading launching next week. We give away a 5K stock net once we get going, once a month to a member that I feel is a good trader. Morning, Leon. You're joining at the end, mate. I'm just a way off. I've done half an hour. That's my normal time frame. You can watch it on repeat. Yeah, correct, Martin. Yeah, that's what I forgot to say. It's instant funding. So you pay your money and you start right away. So the one thing, if you want to start taking money out, right, is the first stage is the most important. The first stage is the hardest. Do not take money out on your first scale. So if you get a 10K account, you make 1K, keep that in there. You go up to 20, you've got 21K, you've got that buffer. Then you want to take some money out, fine. What I would say is if you make, let's say you went up to 20K, so you got 21, you make 20%, you make your 10%, so you're on 23. If you want to take your $2,000, of which you get 55% out of it, okay, do that, but don't scale up, right? Go back down to 21 and then wait for the next scale, so you keep that buffer. That's so important. And I understand it takes a lot more time. This is where the patience comes in. But that's what you have to do. That's what you have to do. Because if you don't, you get to a position where I am now, where thank God I've got that buffer, because these times are always going to come. There's always going to be moments where I lose trades, and I'm not worried because I've got that big buffer. I'm just moving back into it. This will go back to 161 because of that USD SEC trade, but it's a lot better, a lot better. It's the same thing you do with FTMO, right? You keep that buffer. Does that make sense? Not sure why my video is frozen, guys, but I tell you, I know exactly why my video is frozen. It's because my camera battery's run out. There you go. Forgot about that. Yeah, well, so StockNet doesn't have a daily loss, which is good. So FTMO have their 5%, right? So with StockNet, it's just one rule. Just one rule is that you can't lose 8%, and that's it. However, if you do like gambling trading, which a few people in Discord have done, then they'll tell you breach your account. And the other rule is you can't execute and close trades within 5 seconds. So if you open up a trade and you close it within 5 seconds, you can't do that because they say that's high frequency trading, and they can't replicate those trades on their main account. So the account that they obviously, you get a demo account. If they wish to copy your trades, they can do so on their main account. So those are the only main rules, I think. But the main thing is it's instant, right? Instant funding, no pesky challenges and no pesky verification, where you need that element of luck. I know trading is not luck, but you need that element of luck in the challenges. Does that make sense? So yeah, as I said, I'm always open to bribery. If you want one of these 5Ks when Simplicity starts. Also, by the way, with Simplicity, I'll be doing a Friday workshop twice a month. So I'll introduce a new channel. I'll introduce a new channel in the Discord that is workshop ideas. So if you guys got any ideas for the workshop, just stick them in there, whether it be trade reviews or psychology or whatever it is, because it gives me a good idea as we go on for those workshops. Yeah, good. All right, guys. I'll remember. This is another thing I forgot to change my battery in my camera, but I'll remember that tomorrow because you're looking at me a frozen face. Anyway, thanks for coming, guys. I appreciate it. I'll see you all tomorrow. We'll do it all over again, and hopefully the markets are a wee bit better. And if you are trading, remember to trade safe. I think in terms of kind of what we're looking at, it may not be the best depending on how US and London opens up today. Bit more direction. All right, guys, trade safe. Peace.